Hi, everyone. Thank you for checking out this week's episode. I wanted to jump on and offer a small reminder of the ways that you can connect with us. The first way is our socials. So we are Men I've Tolerated Pod on Instagram and Natalie K124 on TikTok, my personal Instagram. And you can find us on YouTube and Pinterest under To All the Men I've Tolerated Before. The second way is by becoming a Patreon member. We are well on our way to our 25 member Patreon, where we are going to unlock bonus perks to being a patron member. Shout out to all of our existing patrons. As an independently ran and funded podcast, your support means everything. Another way that you can connect with us is making sure to subscribe and leave comments wherever you can so we can start reading reviews on each podcast episode. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure to check out the merch store, and we will see you next week. Hey, tolerators. This is To All the Men I've Tolerated Before with Natalie Katona, your weekly look at everyday misogyny. It is an exciting day because Ellen Moore is back. Ellen is the amazing host and creator of the Slut Show with Ellen Moore. You will remember her as our guest when we dished about sex toys and our partners and connected over how young women aren't taken seriously in our society. Today, Ellen is going to help me call out misogyny for allowing men to have dating privilege. Ugh.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be back on the show.
I'm so excited to be talking to you again. We need to have you on all the time.
Oh, you're the cutest. I'm always so happy to be here and do this with you. I'm so excited.
So, I don't know how much you want to get into it, but I am assuming that due to your current relationship status, that misogyny probably played a small part into it.
Oh my God, it played the biggest part ever. I wish it didn't, but it's funny because in preparation of this episode, we talked obviously, and we discussed that the first time we recorded an episode, I was single and I was talking to my what was going to be my partner eventually. Then the second time we recorded an episode, I was in a relationship with him, and now I dumped him.
Dumped. We
So it's a
love to see it.
triology. Sorry, what'd you say?
I said we love to see it. I would love it if everyone just went, Natalie, today I did it. I dumped him. Like, it's the only thing I want to be celebrating.
It has been such a good thing. It's been such a positive breakup for me personally. It has been such a power move. I'm so happy I did it. It gave me so much perspective into what I need and most importantly what I do not need in a relationship and in a partner, and it has been a journey.
I can imagine. I don't know what it's like over there across the ocean. But over here, we have such a rigid and steadfast view of dating and relationships where it's like if it didn't end in marriage or like a lifelong commitment, then you almost got nothing from it. And then what it does is it shackles us into these relationships that we know are either toxic, boring. I love when we're just bored in our relationships, but we're like, well, this is what I'm doing. Um, and things like that. So to hear you say that the breakup was so empowering, and it's like we have to start changing the narrative on how we view the ending of relationships.
I could not agree more. I feel like a lot of the time that is indeed what it's like presented as. You date to marry, but sometimes that's not the case. And honestly, most of the time that's not the case, because how often does it happen that you meet the person immediate like that you're going to spend the rest of your life with immediately? Like it doesn't necessarily happen that often, I think. I don't have the statistics on it, so don't call me out on the facts, but I mean, dating brings you life lessons. It brings can bring joy, it can bring excitement, it can bring pleasure, it can bring a lot of positivity, it can bring so many things besides marriage and having to spend the rest of your lives together. So, I do think it's really important to also discuss how a non-successful relationship, quote unquote non-successful, can be very beneficial.
Right. And whenever I would like get over a breakup very quickly, and people would be like, "Oh, so I was like, "I've just processed it. This is what I learned from it. This is what I don't want from it. And now I'm ready to go." But I think that this ridiculous notion that I'm dating you, basically I'm on like you were interviewing me or I'm auditioning to be your wifey or whatever. That is one of the like pillars that men have built their dating privilege on because they know that at the end of the day, we've been made to feel like everything should be a fairy tale.
Yes, 100%. And we're also raised with this idea that we should be somebody's wife at some point. And honestly, why? If we do not want to be that, then why should we be forced into a role of like domestication and like cleaning, cooking, doing all the things that come within that picture of patriarchal happiness and of family life. And we have a description of like family life in Dutch. It's huisboompje, which refers to it's like the word for a small house, small animal, um, a small tree. So it's like painting this picture of married life, having kids, being happy, living in your suburban fantasy, but that's not what life is like. We live in 2023. We've been through that.
We've been through it, or we've watched other people go through it and we refuse. I'm still single. We hadn't touched base on that when you got on the call. But as you know, I watch a lot of reality television. I love to just rot my brain. And I've been
Same.
watching,
Love
I've
that
been
for you.
I've been watching a season of Married at First Sight, and this man just keeps making comment about how they paired him up with a woman who doesn't cook. And he's like, I don't understand it. She doesn't even she doesn't even know how to grocery shop. Like she's like, well, I've only really had to grocery shop for myself and I eat out a lot because I don't enjoy cooking. And when the experts told her, well, that wasn't really on his like must have list because they interview these people and then they match them up and then make them marry one another. And he goes, I didn't think it had to be on my to do list. I thought that that was just like a given. Wives
Oh my
cook.
god. Oh my but like, does he cook? Can
I
we ask
think
it back? Does
no.
he do groceries? Does he cook for her? Does he clean the house?
And I think that's the thing. It's like, what were you doing before you were wifed up? Like,
Was your mom doing it for you? The hell?
yeah. So, and I think that's one of the frustrating things for me too is when you enter into a relationship and they just like assume that they get to take a back seat on whatever their life was beforehand and you've got it. Like, you've got that right. No, you enter into a relationship and then men have societally been handed an idea of what marriage, relationships, dating are supposed to look like. And so they like take their entire life where they've been trying to feed themselves and trying to also run a household or whatever. And they're like, oh, thank God that's over because now I have someone else who's going to take that over for me.
I mean, I sympathize with men in the sense that it is I can't imagine what it's like being raised in a society, being taught that you should not have any feelings, and if you have them, you should suppress them and not talk about them, and that wives are your future and they should take care of you. They are the ones that raise your children and clean your house and cook your dinner, and get your groceries and do your laundry. Like, it's this bizarre notion. Like, they have been raised with this fantasy picture of what the patriarchy has forced upon us for so many centuries and centuries. and to now come to the conclusion that that is not what women want anymore, and that it may have never been what they wanted in the first place, but we were constantly being put down. We were not being taken serious as serious candidates for jobs. We were not being taken serious as anything outside of that role of being a wife and being a caretaker and being a caregiver. Um, and to come to that conclusion that, oh shit, maybe that's not what women expect nowadays. And I feel like the political climate is not at all helping in that sense. It is contributing to the problem, it is aggravating it. And oh man, life in a patriarchal society can be a pain in the ass.
Well, and talk about like dating privilege coming from the top. When it comes to living in a patriarchal society where we'll base our laws and regulations around what men are feeling, currently, instead of like men getting together to be like, why don't women want to date us and then have our children? They're just like, we'll just stronghold them into having our children and outlaw abortion. And then they have to deal with us.
Which is completely bizarre, because why in the first place are men making decisions about what women should be allowed to do with their bodies? Isn't that entirely up to women? It is
Hmm.
irrelevant what you did to our body. You still do not have any say in what we do with our body. It's ours. Fuck off. You really, like, we'd never asked for your opinion about it. Never.
Fuck all the way off. And as you know, I am petty. So if you think you're going to strong arm me into having your baby, I've been saying out loud at every social gathering, like, men aren't allowed to ejaculate in my presence until we all have abortion rights. Like, you have to be in a completely separate room, state, household. No man is ejaculating and getting pleasure anywhere near me until I can rectify all of the mistakes he'll heap upon me.
And understandably so. What is that like for you right now? Like, what are the abortion rules where you live?
So, right now in Ohio, I at trivia on Wednesday signed a piece of paper that if to it was a petition to say if you're going to talk about taking away and regulating abortion, you at least have to put it on the ballot so it's up to the popular vote.
Hmm.
So there's been rumblings, there's been talking. As far as I know, it's not outright outlawed yet, but we're already preparing for it to be outlawed. So we're like, if you're going to try to outlaw it, you're at least going to hear us and you're going to let us vote for it.
Rightfully so. And I mean, you also have to, like, in that sense, plan ahead, because if abortion is going to be outlawed in like the next coming weeks or months, then your sexual behavior also needs to adapt based on that, which is bizarre because now it is literally a matter of what you decide to do with your genitals, which
Hmm.
what?
Well,
What?
it's not stopping at abortion. It's one day it's abortion, the next day it's let's go back to insurance companies getting to decide whether or not they cover birth control and preventative measures. Let's make sure that we decide that plan B and those types of contraceptives are also considered abortions.
And additionally, by outlawing abortion, you don't stop abortion. You just stop safe abortions. You There's still going to be people who are going to abort the clumps of cells that are in their uterus. The problem is they don't have the tools to do it in a way that is safe, that is sterile. Is that the proper word? I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, so people are still gonna need abortions, and they're gonna get them, no matter if it's via a way that is legal and healthy and easy and accessible, or if that is hurtful in an alleyway with a needle, with like horrible, like a million years ago kind of practices.
Yeah. And honestly, I have a good panicked, I'm so scared cry about it every week because some television show will cover some awful story, or I will stumble upon an awful story on TikTok or any of my other social medias. And I'm like, no, this is my reality. It's scary to live here.
I cannot imagine. Honestly, I it just I sometimes I live in Rotterdam, the Netherlands, and for us like Dutch people, we get to see what's happening in the States from afar. We get to see the political climate change. We get to see how Biden's presidency has been of major influence on like many different things, and how it's been contradicting with Trump's presidency, etc. And so we have this distance, and I feel like news reporters are always kind of like shocked about what's happening, and how extravagantly these politicians are portraying their opinions, and how bizarre the whole situation is right now with Trump. And the I don't want to constantly refer to her as the porn star, but I don't know her name, to be very honest.
Her name is Stormy Daniels.
Right. How the headlines are constantly, a porn star got Trump convicted. Hello, she's got a name, okay? I didn't know it. I know it.
You didn't know it because you weren't allowed to know it. They wouldn't print it.
No, literally. Like all I've seen is a porn star got him convicted. I literally have not seen her name. I've heard it because I've done some research, but I have ADHD, so I forget everything I see right the second I don't see it anymore. So that's my excuse. But it's interesting to see from afar what's happening. It's so problematic. I wish I could do more. I wish I had the right to vote. I would not be voting conservative. That's for sure. Oh my god, I can't imagine what it's like to be
Yeah.
stuck in that.
No, we're just happy to have you as a supporter from so far away with the Slut Show and everything that you talk about and perpetuate on your social media.
Anytime ever.
And birth control and contraception is a thing that has also, as a form of male dating privilege, has always been the woman's responsibility. Like, we have to beg for a condom to come into play. If there's a pregnancy scare, it's always, well, I thought that you were on the pill. Well, sometimes my antidepressant is a little wonkier than it normally is. So is my birth control. And it's always, and I, as a woman, have learned to become more comfortable with those conversations, but it's also that I'm always steering those conversations. It's, I'm using a condom unless we're committed people and we've been committed for a while. And it's like, oh, yeah, I just like never thought about that because you don't have to,
Because you don't
is the
face the
thing.
consequences if somebody gets pregnant, because it's not your body that gets pregnant. But like the whole conversation around like um birth control is, in and of itself, it is astonishing. Why are women the ones who are expected to take birth control, whether it's hormonal or not hormonal? It doesn't matter. Why are we the ones expected to take birth control, while in 9 months we can birth one child, while technically speaking a man could ejaculate? Let me do the math real quick, give me 2 seconds. Okay, let's say a man ejaculates 2 times a day. Let's keep it very modest. Okay, so 2 times a day. Then we have 30 days in a month, roughly. Then we have 9 months. That is 540 pregnancies. Why the fuck are we the ones that are supposed to take birth control, while we are 540 times less likely to produce a child as a result of not taking that birth control? It is honestly bizarre. I
It's
just can't.
It's bizarre, and that math seems to be what Nick Cannon is using to convince women that he should be knocking them up. Nick Cannon has a new woman who is having his baby, I swear, every 3 months, and it's like, "Where'd you find her?" Like,
Well,
so he should be the
well,
poster
well,
child
well.
for male contraceptive. Um, but yeah, it's, and then taking it back to just the dating structure and how we view dating in our society, our media, and what young women are taught. Every time I'm watching The Bachelor and one of the women goes, I was really thinking about it today, and I also get to choose whether or not I like him. And she has to say it out loud like it's a movement and a moment, because it is. We are constantly put into these positions when we're like, he'll tell me if he likes me, and then that will validate our relationship. He'll tell me if we're dating, and that will validate whether or not we're in a relationship. If I bring up what I want to label that relationship or how I want this relationship to go or whatever, I've been told I'm needy, I'm scaring
Mm-hmm.
him away, I'm jumping the gun, I'm making him panic. Like it all has to be around them and their fear of commitment. And they're
No
imposed
matter
upon fear of commitment.
no matter what we do, it's not good. If we tell people that we have feelings, that they're too soon, they're too strong, we're feeling too much, we're being extravagant, we're being emotional, we're overreacting, we're getting strings attached that should have never been attached in the first place, where we're they're they always come up with new excuses as to why whatever the hell we're doing is wrong. And I just, if you like somebody, tell them. If you're not interested, tell them. If you want to fuck with them, tell them. Communicate. For fuck's sakes, begin communicating, please. Oh my god, ladies and gentlemen, it's really not that hard.
It isn't. It's like daily check ins. Like, are you dating other people? No. Well, good news. I'm also too exhausted to date other people. Do we just want to officially say that we're only dating one another, or do we want to keep it open in case I get more rest and decide I can date more people than you? I think we're
Right.
so scared of what everyone's answer is going to be that we
Mm-hmm.
never ask a question.
Like, it really begins with communication. And that's the thing. If you're raised in a world where you're taught that your feelings should be ignored and suppressed and should not be communicated about, then of course you're not going to share your feelings with people. And if you never share your feelings with people, then doing that for the first place is going to be really scary and it's going to be super hard. And of course, that's going to cause so many communicative problems. Oh my God, communicative problems because you've never done it before, and everything you do for a first time is going to be hard, and you need practice in whatever it is you do for a first time. But it is a matter of doing it and practicing and asking for help and being open to, maybe maybe you're wrong, being open to the thought that maybe there is a woman who has more knowledge in that regard. Maybe there are other people who are just more of an expert in that area than you are, and that is okay. You're not less of a man, you're not invalid. It makes so much sense for you to be that way because you're raised that way, because your entire surrounding is supporting your ways and building you up by constantly contributing to all these things that are going on. um but you have to get out of it. You have to, like, zoom out and take a look at your behavior and realize how toxic masculinity is a widespread concept that affects so many different areas of life.
And even if toxic masculinity isn't making you a cruel person to date or an abusive person to date, I can say, as a woman who uses dating apps, it's making you a boring person to date because here I've been trained my entire life not to choose men, but to catch men and to be the pretty one, the charming one, the funny one, the one who keeps conversation going. Unless he doesn't like talking, then it's just sitting in silence and sipping coffee, looking at one another until he decides he's going to talk to you. And you have been conditioned to feel that, like, well, women will just be attracted to me and then that is the end of the journey for me. And even unattractive men, even nerdy, geeky, like any of the things that we were worried about being in high school, all of our sitcoms and our television have been all like, don't worry, men get to look and act like anything they want, and someone somewhere will still marry them.
I cannot even. I honestly do think that men as a whole have a major problem in dealing with their emotions. And I think that toxic masculinity is merely a way that, like, it's a symptom of the, like, all this behavior is are symptoms of one thing called toxic masculinity.
I think if you've never, if you've always been taught or told or validated in the fact that everything you do is correct, everything you do is backed up by laws, by television, by behaviors of women, you do just stop deeply reflecting on yourself. The men who have ended up being the meanest to me at the end of our relationships are truly men who just never thought that they would have to have gotten to know themselves and maybe put forth some effort in order to keep me around.
Right. It my god, it glorifies so many different unhealthy habits. It's like things as like self-care is for women, the assumption that you have to work towards power and status, and femininity should be rejected regardless, and you need to be tough at all times, and you shouldn't show weakness, and you shouldn't show vulnerability, and thus that turns into super aggressive behavior. And um like it's been like studies have shown that men who hold the strongest beliefs about masculinity are severely less likely to get preventive health care, just consulting a doctor about whatever problems they're having. Like if they're physically ill, the stronger their beliefs are about masculinity, the less likely they are to get diagnosed with serious illnesses, because they just consider these things. They're like, yeah, no, I'm tough. This is fine. I'll deal with it. I'll just pop some painkillers. They waver it off the table, but it's also a serious risk to their health, not just physically, but also mentally, quite obviously. So like men needs to beware that I'm not saying, oh, this is toxic masculinity because it annoys me. No, it also is causing major problems in your life. It is making you face things that could go a lot easier and healthier, and you know,
It is.
there are other ways to deal with your shit.
There are other ways to deal with your shit. I think one of the benefits of being a woman in my 30s is I have all of these data points that is like the timeline of where we've come when it comes to heterosexual relationships or how men are interacting in the world of romance and dating. And there's this new phenomenon that I'm seeing in men that I know who have been married and are still with that partner and have been married for a while, or they're just dating friends of mine, or they're just around friends of mine. And they they're very much well aware that in the year of 2023 women are demanding more and we're putting up with less and we're getting divorced at quicker rates and we're very much in a position where we're making our own money. We've gotten into the stride of not needing you anymore, and that they know that they feel negatively about that because it directly impacts their desirability, but they don't know what to do with those feelings because it's almost become taboo to be like, I mean, I'm just really sad that women don't want to put up with me because saying that out loud is ridiculous. So I see men, and I've told my friends that they need to watch out for it because we'll be out, something will be going on or whatever. And then a woman has either taken up too much space, been a little too smart, been a little bit too funny and charming, has been a superstar of the moment. And the man who is directly attached to her gets quiet, gets real like seething in a silent anger, withdrawn, and then you have to like baby and bait him back into the moment. And I was like, that's the scariest anger of all. The seething silent anger. That's what kills.
Having to like you said, baby them into normal behavior again, having to tiptoe around them, walk on eggshells in order to not piss them off and make them turn into this raging attitude version of themselves. It is bizarre. Honestly, get some fucking therapy. Like it's been it has been like research has shown us that men are 3.5 times more likely to commit suicide than women are. Men commit 90% of all suicides in the US, and 77% of all people being murdered are men. That also means that the problem really isn't women being overly emotional. No, it's men being completely unable to deal with their own emotions and thus um, calling us overly emotional because they have no clue what to do with themselves, and they're like, "What the hell? Well, how do they do this? Now that is overly emotional. Why would you ventilate your emotions? Why would you talk about them? Why would you cry? What is that? That's bizarre." No, it's not. It really isn't. It
And
really isn't.
back to the Married at First Sight episode. They have these like I don't know if you're familiar with the show, but they have these experts that are supposed to help the newly married people who never knew one another, never saw a picture, nothing before they stood at the altar. And a lot of the women were had the same baseline complaint where it's like, I don't want to have sex with him or enter into some sort of physical intimacy because emotionally, I am not getting my intimacy needs met. And
Mhm.
finally, one of the older female experts, Dr. Pepper, who I'm usually on board with and love, she just basically said, she's like, listen, the men in our lives, they're not our mothers, they're not our best friends, and they're not our sisters. So, whatever intimacy they have offered up with you, you have to notice because that's really all they're capable of doing. They're not capable of doing it. And what a dangerous like precedent to set for women, let alone the hundreds of thousands of people who are going to watch the TV show. I go, you just told women if you know your emotional needs aren't being met, just don't have them or go hug your mom.
Being in a relationship is more than having sex, and like you need like an emotional relationship. Like the emotional part of a relationship is, if you ask me, like at least 80% of your relationship. There needs to be an emotional relationship. If that's not there, honey, I wouldn't call it a relationship.
Right. I'd call it a fucking around and finding out type of thing. I
Your
because think of
flatmates, your fucking flatmates.
because
Don't
think
even call it a marriage.
Because when I like break up that idea of what emotional intimacy means to me, it's my feeling of being safe in a relationship, my feeling of getting to be myself and knowing that that's going to be accepted. It Love is so much more than Snow White getting made out with while she was asleep.
Where's the consent in that though? We're like, this is one of those Snow White being m- kissed while she was asleep. People are like, why are you making this a big deal? Well, because if I'm being kissed by a stranger I've never met while I am asleep, I call that sexual harassment. I would, if it goes further than that, I would maybe call it the horrible R word. Like, obviously that is problematic, and not admitting that that is hella problematic. These are microaggressions. These
Yeah.
things of like it's glorifying this idea that consent is optional. It's not. Consent should be mandatory at the very fucking least. I'm sorry for swearing. I need to really stop that, but anyways.
Why would you ever stop swearing on my show? We
Oh,
love
thank you.
swearing. We
Well,
love it.
fuck yes. Fuck
Fuck
yes.
yeah. No, we have
um
to start swearing about the patriarchy because it's fucking goddamn ridiculous.
I couldn't agree more. TikTok's not a big fan, but whatever the hell.
TikTok isn't a big fan of women, people of color, and the gay community in general. They're just,
It's called oppression.
yeah. I
So,
love TikTok. It's telling me exactly where I need to park and how I need to dress for the Taylor Swift concert that I'm going to this summer. But at the end of the day, I'm like, if I stepped out of line, I mean, TikTok already suppresses me because I'm like, what if women had rights? And they're like, no, we don't stop. We don't need that.
we don't like that. No, 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 no. Let's not show people any of the videos now because that's not an opinion we support. But also like toxic masculinity, it creates feelings of isolation, of loneliness. It teaches men to be a good provider. This whole concept of being a good provider, um also means that you need to, not show any vulnerability, but that's not being a provider. Being a provider means showing emotional vulnerability and going to therapy and doing the work and looking yourself and like looking in the mirror and talking to people and, you know, looking at your own privilege, because privilege is invisible to those who have it. And if you are being called out on your privilege, the very least you can do is look into it and think, what if I maybe am not right?
Hmm.
What if the wild concept that I'm not right? What if I just for a second look into that and give it a shot?
Right.
Because
If,
nobody's
I,
always right.
I mean,
Neither am
I
I.
have been calling what's happening with anti LGBTQ legislation, the lack of gender affirming care that's being widespread throughout my country, abortion rights, all of it. I'm like, it's a war on femme and it's a war on women. It's a war on anyone who isn't a white man because they have decided that they regret letting us vote, letting us be educated, letting us work outside of the home. They regret it because they didn't, because when after 180 years of women fighting for the right to vote happened, um, they just gave it to us so we'd stop complaining and stop talking. And they would like, well, what could ever go wrong with those Peasley little women voting? And then they realized, like, oh shit, we gave them a collective voice, and I guess they're gonna use it. They've discounted us for hundreds of years, and anytime they gave us a little bit, they were like, you won't do anything with it. And now that we've done things with it, there's a lot of resentment going around. That's what scares me. I think we have this misconception that the people at the top of the hierarchy of privilege, of wealth, of anything that you can think of that brings positivity into your life, um, I think we have this misconception that they're the most secure people in the world. Like Elon Musk has to be one of the most secure men in the entire world. Like he owns Twitter, right? No, they're in constant. I mean, talk to a man who has barely any wealth but is still considered wealthy. They're the most insecure, worried, scared person in the entire planet about one day it all being taken away from them.
And that just goes to say that if you're not emotionally content with yourself, with your life, if you're not happy overall, then it doesn't matter what's on your bank account. It doesn't matter how big your house is. It doesn't matter how expensive the car is that you drive. It doesn't matter how hot your porn star model girlfriend that who's 30 years younger than you are is. It all doesn't matter. It really is what's in your head that matters most down the line.
Yeah. And there are some really deep rooted ideals that both sides of the spectrum have that are dangerous to entering loving, healthy, and relationships that I would consider things that I would desire. And one of them is the demonization of compromise in our relationships. I have watched countless people be like, but I just did that for you. And you're like, okay, why are you mad that you did that for me? And it's like, well, I did it for you because I assumed that once I did this one thing for you, that was a compromise and I was done. On the current season of Love is Blind, he's a man who works from home, so his job can very well be anywhere. Um, and his family isn't local or anything, and he's in a relationship with a woman whose family is in Seattle, her job is in Seattle. They're anchors to where
Mhm.
she lives. And he's like, why should I have to compromise where I live? And it's like,
Mhm.
well, literally just strategically it makes sense.
So why are not doing it then?
Because he feels like he shouldn't have to. He
Oh
feels
my
like he's made enough sacrifices. She was his second choice. And and it's that for me. It's, haven't I sacrificed enough for you? Well, doing things for me, I think the haven't I sacrificed enough for you idea is so toxic to a healthy relationship because it's like, well, I didn't know that getting Chinese food last night was a sacrifice. I thought we were just picking dinner.
God. Right. I At the end of my relationship, I in a desperate attempt to fix what was left of that relationship, I I wrote my ex, my now ex, a letter. A To be precise, 4,086 word letter that is 9 pages long, written
Wow.
out, typed, um, explaining toxic masculinity as a concept, explaining how it applies to him, how it would benefit him to unlearn that. And in preparation of this episode, I got that as a little, backup information. And as we're talking, I'm skimming through these things to also like support the points that I'm trying to make, right? And I'm reading this, and you said earlier in the episode, you said that we tend to mother men, and
Hmm.
now this 9 page long letter is the perfect example of how I too always end up mothering the men in my life. And after my last relationship, it's done. I'm not mothering nobody with a penis no more. If you're my friend and we have a relationship that is based on mutual respect, in which I get things and you get things from me, I get things from you, then good. Fine, great. Let's talk. Let me be your therapist real quick cuz you're my therapist sometimes. Fine. But I refuse to settle for uneven relationships in which I am the therapist and they are going to therapy. Honey, pay somebody to be your therapist because it ain't me anymore.
Right. And all I could think of is, and I've said this, not to, we were talking about someone else's behavior. And a man in my life said, he's like, well, it's very clear that there's some like social skills deficits and like socially, like someone just isn't on the same page with us. And, you know, and I told him, I was like, I understand the need to be kind about people's cognitive gaps, anxiety gaps, security gaps, whatever. I
But up
understand
to
that
a certain fucking degree.
to a certain fucking degree because I think it's the same thing that the queer community, the BIPOC community, all of these people are just like, we're tired of teaching people how to be kind to us. And that's where I'm at. I go, I'm just tired of teaching people what respect looks like. What does it look like to respect women? No, there are so many resources, and it all starts with therapy and your own mental, emotional health that, and it puts women in danger to continue to give allowances like he'll get better. I told him, and he's going to enact that. He will start practicing how to treat me with respect, how to love me the way that I deserve. This whole silent resentment, every time I see it in person, I just like text one of my friends and I was like, I hope you know he's listing all of the reasons why we should be out of his life, but probably also why we shouldn't be on the planet anymore. Like that's how men have been taught to deal with their emotions, to literally just remove the thing giving them emotions. That's us currently.
I this world sometimes is just, oh my god. It's tiring to constantly have to raise everyone around you. Like, we don't need like a bunch of projects. We need equal relationships. We need partners who are not our projects. We need friends who are not our projects or our therapy seeking troubled souls. I mean, it is fine to be troubled and it is fine to need help and it is fine to want to learn things and want to unlearn things. Hell, it is great, but do it in therapy and don't expect your friends or your partner or your mother or your sister to do that for you. You need to do it yourself. Stop putting the responsibility of your own happiness and emotional stability on others.
So, because what it allows is it allows the grace for me too to also be human and living with like the human condition. So, you might be a person who is emotionally stunted towards women. I might be a person who's fucking impatient and on 3 hours of sleep and petty as hell because that's my coping mechanism. And why should I have to throw all my flaws out of the window to be really patient to you when I don't think that I would get that reciprocated?
Right. And then we're the ones who need to swallow everything that we're thinking and want to say and feel to what? To to accommodate you, to make you feel comfortable, to make you to allow you to continue living your life as you did before. Oh honey, no. I'm taking up
No.
space. And if you have a problem with my behavior and my behavior doesn't qualify as completely out of it, then I'm pretty sure that is on you.
And it's just one of those things where it's like I know my red flags. If you asked me on a first date, "Hey, what are the red flags of yours that I should look out for?" I could do them and rank them. I'm going to be like, "Well, this will be the one that will happen the most." And I've reflected on myself and have learned to love myself despite my flaws, to get a handle on those flaws when they are starting to impact the lives of others, know when to remove myself when something is a trigger to those said flaws. I've done the work. I'm sorry that you've never even considered starting the work, that you
Mhm.
just thought that you would just get to be de escalated in the moment your entire life.
I same goes for me. I never ever claimed or would claim that I'm perfect, that I don't have flaws, that I don't have red flags. Hell, I have a lot of them. I've been through so much shit. I've been through so many traumas. Of course, that is going to leave scars. But the thing is, I went to therapy for, I think, fucking 11, 12 years. I didn't sit there and just be. I did the work. And so I know what my flaws are. Just like you said, I know what my red flags are. And I can live with them because I know how to cope with them in a way that doesn't harm other people. And if somebody points out to me that, hey, something that I do is harming them, then I will try everything I fucking can to change that behavior, because if my behavior harms anyone around me, that is problematic. And likewise, if we call out men on their problematic behavior, they should at least consider it's to be an option that we might, in a wild fantasy, be right.
Heaven forbid we're right. What? We're
What?
just naggy.
What?
I watched some, I mean, honestly, I could have cried over it, but it was a TikTok. And this woman had like a beach bag and a cooler and like a baby bag and her infant in her arms. And she was trying to get the toddler out of the car. And the toddler, and we've all been there. I stepped on the cat yesterday and honestly, like, fell to my knees and was like, I'm so sorry. And I will just go to bed. I will ground myself. Like, I'm done. The toddler like got out of the car, I think, quicker than she anticipated and got behind her. So now this woman who has like literally every item she owns blocking her peripheral vision has tripped over her own toddler, holding her infant, knocking said toddler to the ground as she's falling, and her husband is just like um playing Candy Crush on his phone as she juggles their entire life in her hands. And I was like, that motherfucker. Because, and a woman stitched it and she's like, stop asking us why we're divorcing you. Stop.
Stop asking us why we're angry.
Right.
Stop asking us why. Oh my god. This, like, I would love to get that video. This is the prime example of why women have begun to stand up for themselves, because this we just don't tolerate this shit anymore, and rightfully
No.
so.
And it shouldn't be, because also what ends up happening, and women wrote it in the comments, and they're like, could you even imagine telling him it would have been nice to have gotten some help? Because then it's, you're always on me for something. Nothing I do is ever right. I like, how was I supposed to know that you needed help? You didn't say anything. Okay.
I don't even know what to say to that.
I
I
know.
don't even know what to say to that.
Because I'm throwing out the goddamn script. All of the things that we've been told to just be like, well, you really need to look, you have to hold their face in between your two hands, and you have to make sure that they're making direct eye contact with you. And you have to go, when my hands are too full to carry all of the groceries, I would like it if you took some of the groceries. And I promise and I vow in front of God, our family and friends, and this person who got officiated on the internet to ask you every time I'm carrying all of the groceries for you to help, because I understand that you won't consider me at all during the course of our marriage.
It is bizarre to me. It is just bizarre. I know that I've said that sentence like 20 times already. Like, take a shot every time I say something's bizarre, but this shit is fucking bizarre.
It's bizarre. It's bizarre that I hate saying that it's been allowed to have gone on for so long, because that makes it like our responsibility, because we're
Mhm.
always being the ones taking responsibility for our own oppression, our own murders, our own assaults, all of it. It's like, well, did you try? Did you try to appease the men a little bit harder? But it's just so odd that you and I are talking about it in 2023.
I can't get over it. Why is this a conversation that we still need to have, and like urgently need to have? Why did I end up writing a 9-page letter explaining toxic masculinity to my goddamn ex? Oh my god, the hell?
Because because I would bet that he was well aware that toxic masculinity is a thing. They just always assume it isn't their problem. Not me. I've never hit anyone. Not me. I've never cheated. But you're still living in the system.
And also, yes, you.
Also, yes, you. We
Truly, though.
also, yes, you. We are rounding up on the hour. So let's go ahead and move to the ending part of the show with our manifestations and takeaways.
Positivity, I like it.
Positivity.
Woo!
As someone who is living in the year 2023, what has been your best takeaway to offer to people about what it means to be in a relationship and dating in a world of male privilege?
Well, um, if you explain to your partner how their behavior stems from toxic masculinity and they waver it off the table repeatedly, to a degree that they begin gaslighting you that the things that happened didn't actually happen, then honey, it's time to get the fuck out.
It is.
That's what I learned.
Yeah, it is. And I'll buy you a present after it happens. I'll throw you a party.
Sis, dump
I
him. We'll throw you a fucking hella epic party.
honestly, like, dumping men is part of the revolution. It is an act of discourse.
And I
It is
couldn't agree more.
rebellion.
Yes, it is. And I am
Maybe
here for it.
Maybe that's my takeaway. It's like breaking up with men is in fact part of the revolution. But I also think my my big takeaway is you get to feel like they're boring. You get to feel like they're not someone you want to be in a relationship with. You get to look at this person and ask yourself every day, do I even like you? And if the answer is no, or even maybe not like a week, maybe, then I gotta go. Life is short. Climate change is real. Um, we live in danger every day as women. I gotta go.
We are all gonna inevitably die. We are all gonna be subject to climate change, to all the horrible things that are happening to women globally, to oppression internationally. It is, honey. We don't have time to stick anywhere where we're like brain fart. We don't have time to stay anywhere that in any place that doesn't celebrate us, honey. If it doesn't bring you money, orgasms, happiness, or whatever else positivity, get
Get
out,
out.
run, get the fuck out. Bye bye, bye, Felicia.
We will be the first people to buy you a present.
Yes, queen. Yes, dump him.
Dump him. I'm making so many Taylor Swift friendship bracelets. There will be some left over. If you break up with your man as a result of this episode, I will give you your favorite Taylor Swift song in a bracelet.
Take this. If you, as a result of this episode, decide to break up your relationship with some dude of whatever kind, I will personally stand to it that I will send you the postcard collection that we have to offer on theslutshow.org.
And those
Check it out.
postcards are fucking brilliant. They're
They're so cute.
they're so cute. If people actually use them to send like lovely postcards to their friends, amazing. If I would frame them in my home.
I feel so honored. I feel so honored.
What is your manifestation? What are you hoping for the collective as a whole?
As a whole, for the collective, I hope that women stand up for themselves, that they use their voice to be heard. I hope that men realize that sometimes taking a step away from the mic is the right thing to do, to make room for those who are being oppressed, to make room for minorities, to create space for those who are not being heard in modern day media. And for me personally, we're heading into the recording days of a new season at the Slut Show. So I would love for that season to blow the fuck up, obviously. But mainly if it helps just one person, that is everything I did it for. So yeah.
Yes, I love that you're already going back into another season. Your show is so needed. I think my manifestation is if Ellen's going to say that they're going to give us an inch, then we're going to take a mile. So every time we see a little bit of room, we claim it. Every
Hell yes.
time we're sitting at a table and someone says something ignorant, we have a fact to battle their ignorance, whether it be about domestic violence, whether it be about laws that oppress women, whether it be about the emotional labor that women do compared to men in their relationship. We are coming every day ready. We're
Speak
ready.
up, be annoying, be loud, be rude, be that girl.
And for every girl, for every person of color, for every member of the queer community who is sticking up, taking a chance, making waves, I hope that there are 4 other people at your table backing you up. If it be with a cheer, if it be with telling that other privileged person, you're an asshole. Did you just hear that? Did you just hear
And
what they say? That makes you an asshole.
and if
Um,
you don't have those people at the table, find a new table, honey.
Find a new table. DM me in real time to be like, I just said this at a table and no one backed me up. I'll send you a voice memo backing you up and you can play it for your table.
I'll send you one too.
Yeah, see, we got it. I've got nothing but time to create discourse on the internet.
We got you, honey.
Every time someone says something ignorant on my YouTube, I come with receipts, I come with articles, I come with facts, and I'm like, you're a moron. Just, I'm not
Tell
going to
them.
tell. I'm not going to tell you that you're a moron, but I am going to give you so much information that you go home tonight feeling stupid.
Well,
Speaking of your amazing show and postcards and just the lovely and amazing person that you are, tell the tolerators once again where they can connect with you.
head over to our Instagram at the Slut Show with Ellen Moore. Yes, the Slut Show, as in slut. Absolutely. We have a beautiful website called www.theslutshow.org, where you can find all of our slutty science articles, diving into all of the episodes and backing up with information, facts, and it's a fact-checked piece of journalistic evidence as to what we're discussing in the episode. Check that out if you are interested. Follow us on Instagram. That would be fantastic. Check out the 5 seasons that we have to binge, and the 6th one that is coming your way very soon. And yeah, I would love to see you over there.
Thank you so much for always being a willing partner in this endeavor of To All the Men I've Tolerated Before and for all of the work that you do over there on the Slut Show.
Thank you so much for having me again. And I have never felt like a more appropriate guest as to all the men I've tolerated before. Oh my God. Can't believe I'm opening up about this.
Ah, well, of course you are, because we have to open up about it, and you're strong and you're brave. And we've lived through a hell of a lot to just be like, well, I guess I'm accepting this today.
It's time to tell our stories unapologetically because this is the way it is. And so long as we're telling the truth, may God stand by us.
That's right. Tolerators, you know how to get a hold of us. All of our socials are in a handy dandy ad at the beginning and possibly end of this episode. But if you want to make good on my promises to leave you a voice memo, if no one's standing up for you in a crowded room, or if you dump your man in direct correlation to what you heard today on this episode, you can DM me at Men I've Tolerated Pod. And I hope I send out some bracelets and I hope I record some voice memos because we all deserve better.
I can't wait to be sending out the postcard collection. It's coming your way if you dump them.
And remember, tolerators, you don't have to smile through anything you're tolerating, including being partnered with someone who wouldn't even consider the fact that when you struggle, you need help, or consider the fact that because of the privilege they've lived under, you have suffered. Smiles are for joy.